In a Sunday matinee afternoon battle that had everything you'd want, the Utah Jazz come out victorious with their 8th win of their last 9, beating the Phoenix Suns today, 118-114. We're talking about it coming up on POSTCAST. David Locke along with Ron Boone here for you from Phoenix. Super nice to be back on the road, and the energy here was incredible. A lot of Jazz fans, a lot of Suns fans, and this was a super basketball game, Ron.
Woodward had a lot of fun calling this ball game. Not the kind of fun we had being here in the presence in this arena, watching everything and the excitement, the stellar play by so many players and the bench, David, absolutely marvelous.
I want to start out with just kind of the collectiveness of the group. They've won 8 of 9. Rudy in our post-game interview talked about how it's not just the wins, it's the way they're playing, the connectivity. One of the key moments when they were, Phoenix changed up their defense with about 8 minutes left in the fourth, and we saw Donovan and Whiteside and Clarkson coming together, and they brought Rudy over, and the communication between the team that you're seeing on the floor. Now, maybe some of this is, honestly, as we weren't on the road, so we didn't see it, but I haven't seen that level of communication in a while amongst the team, either, let me be clear, because we weren't there, or because it wasn't going on. I'm not sure which.
I think to your point, what's so good about that is that Donovan wasn't just talking to one center, we're talking to both centers. Because, Rudy's going to get so many minutes and Whiteside's going to be so many minutes, and both of them are going to be in the situation or whatever Donovan was trying to describe there. But he was talking to both centers to make sure that all three of them understood what they should be doing in a certain situation.
All right, you mentioned a moment ago the bench. I don't want to not get to it. All of those guys we just talked about were great. Whiteside, Clarkson, House at different points tonight took away the game. The probably headliner for Jazz fans is Danuel House and the work he put in today.
Yeah, the defense that he put on Booker. Now, Booker ends up with a great night. He ends up with 30 points, 24 shots. He made 12, 4 for 8 from the three-point line. But he still made Booker work for everything he got out there on the floor. And you hit it right on the head. He did tire him out a little bit to the point where, they probably had to take him out. But House energy. And then the other thing, David, he pushes the ball up the floor. I mean, his pace. I mean, he pushes the ball up the floor. He's dribbling it up very, very quickly. You can always bring it back out and get into your offense. And I think that's one other thing that I saw from him that the Jazz are getting.
He seems to have an understanding of, I'm going to play 22 minutes. If I'm playing against a guy who's going to play 40 like Booker did tonight, it's a great advantage for me.
Yeah.
And he put in the juice to that. He also, made some other plays, hit 2 big threes, which were certainly mammoth in this game on the offensive side. But the other aspect is we have had one defender on this roster for about 2.5 years now. Yeah. And that was Royce O'Neal. And when Royce O'Neal went out of the game, there wasn't a second guy on this roster to guard someone. And so to have 48 minutes of on-ball defense against their best offensive player was a really big deal tonight.
Yeah, not only House, but you got Trent Forrest there as well. I mean, they were really high on him. Defensively, he's 6'4", he's strong and can use his body very well. And so now you got 3 of them. And as it was passed on to us, you can slide guys a slot down, and give them a rest when they're on the floor out there together. So that's a big plus for the Jazz going forward.
It's an intriguing matchup between the Suns and the Jazz because they both play 48 minutes of center. Gobert and Ayton was outstanding in the first half. He wasn't as forceful in the second half, but he had 23.7 rebounds. He's great. Number 1 pick of the draft. He's great. JaVale McGee can really impact the game. Hassan Whiteside did a fabulous job matching those minutes with JaVale McGee tonight.
I thought I enjoyed that as well because you got 4 7-footers out there on the floor. Both teams being able to take one 7-footer out, put another 7-footer on the floor, and you don't lose that much because you're getting just about the same or maybe something a little bit different out of every player. Ayton, not so much of a shot blocker, but more of a scorer, especially a little jump shooter. McGee has so much energy, block shots, his defense. And then on the other end of the floor, the Jazz offense with Rudy and Whiteside, Hassan Whiteside, they just complement each other so well. This is this is probably one of the more fun ball games we broadcast all year.
I'm all up for doing it in the Western Conference Finals.
Yes.
That'd be fun. We can do the Dallas in the first round. We can do these guys in the Western Conference Finals if we want to actually rather not play Dallas in the first round. Clarkson had 22 tonight as well off the bench, and the Suns were playing a switching and have multiple really good defenders. They could put Jay Crowder on Donovan and then trap with 2 big guys and still have Bridges there to guard on the other side. So, having that extra outlet in Clarkson tonight, super important, and he was terrific.
Yeah, it's his offense, and he made some key buckets. What I really was impressed with, David, with Clarkson, was you noticed, trying to see, he took 7 3-point shots. And I think he only had one that was really questionable. And I think that was the air ball. He shoots the air ball and it doesn't go, and he puts his hands over his head like, oh, I just made the biggest mistake. But ended up going 2 for 7, but 10 for 17 there from the field in 25 minutes of play.
Ron, we have our negative Nelly in the group who says, without Chris Paul and a tough schedule, barely losing us, is that a concern for the future playoff with the matchup for the Suns?
No. I don't. Let's don't even respond to that. That's everybody's.
I think what you saw here is Phoenix is great.
Yeah.
Right? Like Phoenix today, the Jazz get a super win. Phoenix displayed they're great. They're going to be the number 1 seed in the West. They're going to have the number 1 record in the NBA, even going the next 15, 25 games without Chris Paul. The real question for them is going to be whether Chris Paul is actually healthy when the playoffs come or not. That's not a guarantee in any way, shape, or form. So that's going to be really interesting whether or not that becomes a problem for them. But from a Jazz standpoint, this is still a Phoenix team that plays hard, has a great system, plays well, does a lot of different things. That's not an easy win to get. I don't know if you expected the Jazz to walk in here and blow them out by 14 or 18 in their building. Yeah. That's not happening.
That's not going to happen. Definitely not going to happen. Two balance of a team. And I've said that earlier in this little conversation we're having here, that this team is very well balanced. They have every position filled. And even with Chris Paul out there on the floor, they're able to get the job done. They just do it a little bit different. With Chris Paul, they're able to play one way, and he's able to get certain players, certain things out there on the floor. But when he's not there, then somebody else steps up and gets it done.
Interesting game. 2 of the best defenses in the NBA, and the offense is dominated. Jazz finished with an offensive rating of 129. Suns finished with an offensive rating of 124. So both these teams offensively were able to withstand whatever the defenses had to throw at you. And it's interesting, offenses usually seem to win out over good. It's why the Jazz have built an offensive team.
Yeah, what a way to get the road trip started by winning a nice afternoon basketball.
All right, Jazz win it. They've won 8 of 9. We'll talk to you from Houston as we're back out here with the team and enjoying it. Have a great one. Thanks very much for tuning in.